Worshipers. Come on, people who love to worship God, wherever you are today. Listen, the song says, brighter day. Can you clap your hands, do your dance with us? Come on, rock with us, everybody. Come on, rock, clap your hands. Make some noise for Jesus. Hey. Here we go, y'all know it. Say, when I close my eyes.
When I close my eyes and think of you.
And reminisce.
And reminisce of all the things you do.
I can't imagine my life.
I can't imagine my life without you.
It's like paradise.
It's like paradise, how I know that it's real.
It's a mystery. For someone to give their life just for me. What you did on Calvary.
What you did on Calvary.
Makes
me wanna love.
Here we go. I never
knew I could be so happy.
Yeah, I never knew.
I never knew I'd be so secure.
Because of your love.
Because of your love.
Like that brand new me.
Like that brand new
me. So this is not a lie. So that's what's up. And then KJ, you say you're an athlete, right?
Yes.
You know, I got to throw my little athlete card in there at Grambling State University. You know, being a baseball player, and you play baseball. So speak to the person that may not feel like they're getting recruited by the schools that they want to be recruited by. What made you decide to go to Cedar Valley and be okay with that instead of not giving up?
If you're not being recruited by schools you want to be recruited by, it's a long process, especially now with not as many showcases or 7-on-7 games where colleges can actually see you. You just gotta make the film yourself, email coaches yourself, and just be patient, because once you get the first big school, trust me, plenty of more are gonna rumble in and come. Like I said earlier, the reason why I chose Cedar Valley was close to home, financial help, and that first 2 years is very big when you move on to the 4th year. So that's why I chose Cedar Valley.
So can we be honest about your feelings with that? So I'm sure you always had a college in mind, right? Playing sports, this is the college I want to go to. You don't get necessarily recruited by that college. How do you handle that? That has to be something mentally taxing for you. And I'm sure that's something that you had to literally work through, that disappointment, right?
Yeah. How you get through that is you just gotta face reality hard. That's just the biggest thing. You know, we have the expectation to go into the biggest D1, and that's just not reality for everybody. I'm a smaller guy. I'm 5'8", 160. People in big D1 colleges, they're 6 foot and up, at least 200. So my big thing of reality is I need to get bigger, get stronger, and that's what the 2 years is for. Work on yourself, work on your mental, work on your physical, then you move on to the 4th year and show that you belong up there and you can go greater and higher than the 4th.
Oh, so you're still, okay, this is good. So you didn't get picked up by the school you wanted to get picked up by, but you're taking these 2 years to prepare yourself. In other words, you just haven't given up on your dream, because I know many people that didn't get picked up and they were like, bump it.
Yeah,
I mean,
forget it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them didn't even go to school, and I guess, you know, some of them fall to the street, some of them fall, you know, different types of ways. So there's something inside of you. Like, what is that thing? Is that your parents? Is that your faith? Is that your, and I don't want us to be corny. If it's not the truth, it's not the truth. What is that really pushes you
to keep going?
Yeah.
It's just a personal burning fire. From coaches telling me too small, teammates in high school telling me I'm not going to make it, high school coaches saying I'm not good enough for that level. It's just a personal burning fire motivation.
Wow.
So,
That's good. I want to ask Josh something that he said. We all know Morehouse is one of the upper echelons of HBCUs, right? Like, to get into Morehouse, you got to be on point. But one thing I never understood about Morehouse, and you helped me understand, is why would somebody want to go to college and be around all men, right? Like, what made you say, okay, this is what I want to do? Why did I want to go to Morehouse at this time? Because most college guys, when we think about college, we're not thinking about being around the guys, we're thinking about being around girls, right? So what made you pick that?
Well, I mean, first off, it's like, it's not all dudes all the time. There's like a lot of women around.
Hey, look, somebody's mom just sat up in bed like, what? Got my baby with all milk.
I mean, they're like right across the street from each other. You see them a lot. It'd be kind of tough if it wasn't like that. I'm not gonna lie. But it's like, it's like a really strong feeling of community as like, black men, we kind of like have to rely on each other, kind of like the whole world is against us. And, going like to a place where it's like a lot of us, you can like motivate each other. You can really see a lot of people that are like you, that are striving to be great just like you, when you wouldn't see that a lot of times in the real world or in the media or anything like that.
So our verse for this topic is Proverbs 20:26, and it says, "Train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." Right. So let's talk through that part a little bit. Like, how did you lean on your faith in this time? Like, how have you leaned on your faith through the last 4 years for the graduating seniors, and then for you not being able to go to school? How did you lean on your faith in Christ?
Everything is much slower. Everything moves in a way where you can kind of see it moving versus like being in a regular college life or anything post high school. Everything moves really, really fast and things are sort of just moving, kind of going. I think that the quarantine and this whole like stopping in general has allowed everybody, and I know for sure college students, to be able to take some time off and be able to really, really understand, why do I serve the God that I serve? Or why is it that I do this? And I think being able to ask so many questions and kind of go a little bit deeper into the things that we believe in have been my way of sort of leaning on God and understanding the why I actually do things.
That's good. That's actually really good. But I do want to talk to the person that is having to use their faith or is having trouble using their faith past some temptations. I know many of you, and it may just be my seniors that can speak on it because y'all actually got the college experience, being in the dorm rooms, being, one thing that I did not get leaving for college was that warning. I kind of felt like my parents kind of gave me a little bit of freedom while I was in high school, so I was not the person that couldn't wait to go off and go wild, right? But I think that when you go off to college, and some of you may have experienced it being freshmen and your parents just give you a little bit more freedom. There are temptations. There is a temptation of drugs, alcohol, sex. You can come in a little bit later, so look, it's a lot of stuff that goes on.
Not going to church.
Yeah, not going to church. Mm-hmm. I can remember that as well. It wasn't that I did it intentionally,
right?
But it was just, I don't have time necessarily for it. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. That was your rest day. So let's talk through those realities. Let's really dig deep about and let the other students that haven't experienced college, that may still be in high school or even junior high, what was that like? What are those temptations that you didn't experience as much because mama kind of had their, they kind of had you locked. That freedom is a gift and a curse.
Yeah, man, for sure.
So, anybody want to tell the truth? Shame the devil? No. I mean, only sharing our experiences is what will help us. I can personally say I never drank alcohol until I went to college, and it was my freshman year. Clearly super illegal because I wasn't 21, but and that was when I really, really kind of started partying. Now I was focused. I did make good grades because I was afraid to die, and get killed by my parents. But that obviously, I wasn't as focused as I should have been. Only one semester did I make the dean's list, and after that, I kind of, just did enough to get by. And I did not start using my faith per se. I can remember until like my junior or my senior year, and it was just weird how it happened. I don't even know how it happened, but I grew up in the church. So what about you guys? I mean, I'm pretty sure many of you grew up in the church, but the reality is that church go out the window a lot of times. Not for everybody, but when you have that freedom. So let's talk about that.
For me, so I didn't really enjoy high school. I was just so focused on getting good grades and all these organizations, and cheer was literally my life. And when I got to college, it was just like, I made the cheer team coming in as a freshman. I was at a really small school, and I was the only freshman on the cheer team, so I'm on a team with all these upperclassmen, and I'm hearing things from different just feeling myself basically. I can say my first 2 years at Wiley, I definitely felt myself. And I thought I was all that in a bag of chips, especially being a cheerleader, the basketball team.
We believe you by the way you did your neck when you said
You can't tell me nothing, like you literally can tell me nothing. And like my friends, like I was the type of person, I was just real, I talked to everyone, and I was able to get along with everyone. And I kind of was just here and there with different people, and I can say like, you say we can be real, right? I mean like, I drank alcohol my first year in college, like that was like my first time ever experienced like alcohol, smoking weed. I got into that like my first year in college. And it was just for me, it was just like, oh, I need to experience this. Like I need to know what this is like to see if I like it. And my friends were telling me, you don't know what you like until you try it. And then sexual like temptation is like heavy hitter at a small school like this, especially. There's not many guys to choose from. There's not many girls to choose from. And with me, just like I said, I was a cheerleader. The basketball team was just right there. That's who we hung out with, the basketball team. And I can say that like my sophomore year of like school, I struggled with like sexual temptation like really hard, sexual impurity like really hard. And yeah, like, and I wasn't like this in high school. And then that's when I had to like come to the conclusion. It was just like, yo, like something isn't working. My friends isn't working, but this isn't working. And on Sundays, I would just join into Transformation Church and watch Michael Todd. And I came across his sermon when he went viral for relationship goals. I came across him and I kind of just had a wake up call. And in that moment, I was just like, I don't want to be at this school anymore. I want to leave. I just felt stuck and complacent, and I had to make that decision for me. My parents were not okay with it. They didn't want me to leave. My grandfather especially didn't want me to leave. Fees were paid for. I like quit the cheer team, and I like just chunked up the deuces and I left, and I transferred to UNT.
Wow, that's really good. That's really good and honest. And so when you left, you said it was, that's funny how that happened. That message happened to be for you that day. And you knew in your spirit. And that's a lot of times how it happens.
And people were saying like, oh, the way like Wiley credits were, they were just really small in particular, and like big schools like UNT wasn't like probably gonna take all of my credits. They're like, oh, you're gonna start all over. And I was already a year ahead at Wiley. Like I was supposed to graduate last year, I would have stayed at Wiley. So that was one thing my parents were like not okay with, because they wanted me to get in and get out. But with that, something just felt right. And I emailed like the advisor at UNT, and she was like, hey, like we're gonna take all your credits. And then I applied for honors school. I got into honors, and then I had to take a semester off just so I could get all my things together, and that was hard as well too. But my ducks started getting into a row, and everything just felt right. And when I got to UNT, like I'm happy. I'm in a confusing season right now, but I am happy with where I am. So yeah.
That's good, because it sounds like you did it for the right reason, even though it didn't really make sense. And so sometimes when we do things for the right reason, even though it doesn't make sense on paper or to our parents or whatever, you knew spiritually it was kind of a tug for you, and God is just kind of working it out, even though it really didn't make sense. Like, who's gonna quit the cheer team? Who's gonna, walk away from all those credits, So that's pretty powerful.
That's good.
Anybody else want to share? And it doesn't have to be as intense, or maybe it is. One of the fellows want to talk about that, about some temptations that you face, having a little bit more freedom. It could be discipline. It's hard to discipline yourself to do those classes. I can imagine online.